So as we all know, patch 1.07 has given so many amazing buffs and nerfs this game has been desperately needing, one of them being the weapon recovery timing, which is my personal favorite change to this entire update. So obviously today we're going to be going over one of the most neglected weapon types that got buffed the hardest. But before we get into that, I upload Wolong content daily, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and not miss out on any of these amazing changes in action. And if you haven't seen it already, go check out my patch notes video going over everything that's been added to this update. The link to that will be in the description down below. Anyways, let's go over the weapon type that got buffed the hardest. So almost every weapon type in this game did get a recovery time buff, meaning you recover faster from your own attacks to be able to dodge, deflect, or even cast a spell faster after attacking than you did before. Basically speaking, before the patch notes of the weapon would lock you into animations, not allowing you to get deflects off very well, specifically on enemies you couldn't just infinitely light spam on. So you would be fighting, for example, a boss, and you would hit them with a light attack button a few too many times, which for slower type of weapons, they have a long startup animation that then would mess up with your timing to deflect, because your character is still attempting to wail on the boss while the boss is already letting out an attack. So then this recovery change made it so now you can react out of these animations earlier than usual. One of the weapon types that was affected the most was actually the Halberds. The Halberds had super long swinging animations where it would swing all around your back and whatnot, and the second you went into that animation, you basically just knew you were about to die to that boss. Luckily with this patch now, it helped with that tremendously. The Halberds were one of my least favorite weapons in the entire game because of those animation locks. The weapon hit super hard, but I know for me and my friends, after all of us using them, we despise them because half the time we couldn't hit our deflects ever because we were just constantly stuck in those animations. Now luckily after using it, I am absolutely in love with these weapons now. The damage on them has always been amazing, like I said earlier. Just from their basic attacks and especially their counter attacks after deflecting, those always do high damage output. Now that I'm effectively able to deflect attacks while doing massive amounts of damage from just regular hits, it feels super satisfying to use. It is a whole new weapon. So then along with the recovery buffs on the Halberd, also received two other buffs which increase the movement distance of the first swing of the normal attacks, meaning you now can utilize that long range of the Halberd by stepping out further and catching enemies from afar. And then they increase the movement distance of the follow-up spirit attack after the normal attack and optimize the hitbox. So when you hit your heavy button and you're in positive spirit, you also now take a step forward and again utilizing that long range and fix that amazing hitbox. And let me tell you, with that old hitbox, you don't know how many times in the past I'd deflect an opponent's martial art attack and then hit them with a heavy attack button just for it to stop inches away from them. Now finally that slight step gives me enough range to reach them with it, and the hitbox on the move makes it so the spinning of the weapon stun locks them into multiple hits. Before, you would only get off one single hit, at least I would usually only get off one single hit and then they could just spam out, so the damage increase is definitely way higher. Now obviously for PvP, the Halberd was probably best known for its high damaging counterattacks. Like after you deflect an attack and hit your light button, you do that quick guaranteed hit. Yeah, for those, I'll call them heavy type of weapons. Examples being the hammers and the axes, and then of course the halberds. They all have the highest damaging counterattacks in the game. So obviously now that we can recover out of swinging, it will be that much easier to bait your opponents by throwing out a random attack and then deflect them, trying to optimize on your missed attack, allowing us to easily deflect and counter their attack and then hit them with that high damage. Now with the heavy spirit attack being able to also catch people easier after deflecting martial arts, halberds are now absolutely goated. Even with them being absolutely amazing in PvP, this change definitely more so affects PvE the most. Like I was saying earlier how it sucked being stuck in those animations while fighting bosses, now I can more so spam my light attacks and still be able to deflect the very last moment before the boss hits me. This slight change just made a horrible low tier weapon instantly shoot up to a possibly S tier weapon now. Halberds have some huge hitting martial arts as well, like Iron Calf and Dragon Slayer, so that just makes me want to use these weapons even more now. The fact Team Ninja put this much effort into these changes for even just the Halberd, something I don't think anyone really complained about, really shows their dedication to wanting to improve this game. Well then, now you're probably wondering, what build am I running that best utilizes this? And I'll be real with you, I didn't go too crazy in the build just because I wanted to get the feel for the weapon changes without breaking it too much. But regardless, let's go over that. For my stats, I'm running 8 fire for the amplified damage spell and then 70 earth and 74 water because my halberd weapon I'm using scales off of water and earth. If you end up using something like Lubu's Halberd, obviously just replace the water points into the fire virtue. The armor I'm using is the full blue-eyed child set, just because it gives the 4th piece set bonus, giving melee attack plus 6.2%. And for embedments, I just put on more melee attack damage on each piece of the gear since we are going for that raw damage on the halberd. Nothing too special, but still very efficient. As for the spells, those are completely up to you. If you want to recreate this build, I'd just say the only one that's really necessary is the amplified damage one. But for the overall change of this weapon, I think it's absolutely amazing. I really didn't expect them to put in this much time and care into a single update. Not going to lie, a lot of the games that I've been playing over the last couple of years, they're just absolutely slacking on updates like these, so seeing this is very refreshing. You'll definitely be seeing more of this halberd weapon in future videos for sure. I love this thing now. They have some amazing martial arts as well that I'll definitely need to cover. But that's going to do it for me, everyone. Let me know what you all think about these changes to the halberds, and if there's any other specific weapons you'd love to see me cover that are amazing after the patch. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the rest of these PvP clips, enjoy the rest of your day, and have a good one. Peace!